in order to create new processes or process flows, you'll open up the solution documentation tile. And you want to make sure that you're in the development branch. Once in the development branch, you'll click on business processes, and then you'll right click on an open spot in the next column, and you'll select new folder. I'm going to call this folder modular processes. Inside of that new folder, we're going to create a scenario, and I'll right click new scenario, and I'm going to call this scenario FICO. Click save. Then I'll click on my new scenario, and underneath the scenario I can actually create the new process. I can do that by clicking on an open space in the blank column and highlighting new and then process. I can rename that to say intercompany accounting, and then I'll click save. Now once I have a process, I can add a process flow. I can do that by clicking the process, going down to the bottom in an open section, right click, new, diagrams, process diagram. I'll give the process diagram a name, intercompany accounting process flow, and I'll click save. Once it's been created, I can click on the link to open up the diagram. Any roles that are already in the system will be available for you to select. So in this case, I'm going to select the accountant role, and you'll see that that will add in a role called accountant and put a start event in there. Now, if you didn't have a role already there, you can create your own role by going to lane and adding the role. I'm going to write in custom role, and I'm going to click the plus sign. You'll see now that it puts it into the available list of roles. So I'll left click that once. I'll move my cursor over to where I want to place the new role. I want to put this one at the bottom, and then I'll left click again, and you can see how it inserts that down beneath it. Now, if your diagram doesn't already have a start event, you'll need to add one by clicking on the start event once, moving your cursor over, and dropping it into the process diagram. If you've already got a start event, you can click on that start event, and you'll see a series of options come up, and you'll pick new or add process step. In this section, if you've got process steps already in that process, you can select them from here. Otherwise, you can click the plus symbol. You'll have the ability here to search the library for process steps that already exist anywhere within the SAP processes. So in this case, let's just say I wanted to add create billing document. Click on that, click OK. And now you can see create billing document process step is there. Now, if I want to see what transaction is associated with that create billing document, I can click on that transaction or that process step. And at the bottom, you'll see the transaction. If you don't see the actual transaction code, you can left click on any of the headings, click add, and you'll search for the field called object. And you just put a check mark there and click OK. Now you can see transaction code VF01 is associated to that process step. Now, if I wanted to create a process step that doesn't already exist somewhere in the library, I can click on the step that I want to attach it to, click on Add Process Step, click the plus symbol, and I can go ahead and type in the name of the step I want to add. In this case, I want to add Emery's custom step, and we'll just put the number 2 after it. I click OK. And that'll attach the step you just created, but there's no transaction associated with it right now. So if you click on that newly created process step, you can go down to the bottom, right click, and say New Executable. And from here, you'll be able to search all of the executables that are already in the system. So if I want VA01, I can go ahead and do a search on that, and go ahead and select it and click OK. So now you can see Emery's custom step has VA01 associated with it. Now, if you wanted to add a custom step and the transaction is not in Solution Manager yet, you can go ahead and add the process step just as you did before. Click the plus symbol. At this time, you're going to type in, let's say, Emery's custom step 3. Click OK. And when I click on that, I can go to the bottom to attach a transaction, right click New Executable. And instead of searching, you can go to the Specify Executable. From here, you'll select Transaction. You'll go ahead and pick the logical component group. In this case, we're going to use ABAP Production. And you just go ahead and type in the transaction at this point. So if it's something like a ZVA01, then you go ahead and click OK. And you'll get a message that, it's not in the list, it can't find it, but that's okay. You go ahead and say create the element anyway. And now I've got ZVA01 associated with that custom process step. You're always going to want to end your process flows with an end event. So you can do that by clicking on the last step in the process, highlighting the add end event, clicking it, and you'll see where it goes. Now you can move these boxes around by clicking one and just dragging it maybe to the next roll here. And if I want this one to go here too, move it down. If I want to change the connectors, I can click on a line. I can find the blue dot of where it's connecting. I can click on it and hold, and then just drag it to the connector point and release. I'll do the same thing over here. Find the blue dot, drag it, and release. When you're ready to save, just click the save button. And then click the X button to close out. So now that I created those process steps in the diagram, you'll see that it's created the corresponding process steps in the hierarchy, and you can see that the transactions are associated as well. If you have any questions with any of these processes, please don't hesitate to contact me via email or Skype. Thanks.